Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Wisdom Wednesday podcast. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Wisdom Wednesday podcast. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Wisdom Wednesday podcast. Okay. Sorry for the technical difficulties. It's been a long time since I've been on with you guys, but officially, good morning. Welcome to the Wisdom Wednesday podcast with your host, Dr. Mary Segars. I've missed you all out here in podcast land, and I trust you had a wonderful month of May. And here it is, Wednesday, June the 7th, 2023. We're in the 6th month of this year. And if you're like me, I wanted to make some changes in my life. And for this episode today, we're going to really discuss about why people are so reluctant to make changes in their life. But you know the drill. Grab your coffee cup. Or perhaps you want orange juice, herbal tea, or water, and join in on the conversation. Have you ever tried to make a change in your life and you found out that you couldn't make the change? Trust me, you're not alone. So the real question is, why is it so hard to make a change? Let's talk about this serious discussion today on this episode. And I'm going to come up with I came up with 7 reasons why people are so reluctant to make changes in their life. And this is after my research, after I interviewed many people that said they wanted to make changes and it was real hard for them to make a change, and my own observation and my own experience with trying to make a change, right? So let's just dive into that. And, it's amazing because a majority of the time, most people really do want to change, but these are some of the reasons why it's difficult for them to change. So number 1, fear of the unknown. Change involves stepping into new territory, unfamiliar places. And some people find that to be very overwhelming and intimidating, and they just won't do it. And so they have the fear that they won't be able to cope with all that's required to go into a new circumstances or some uncertainty. When I thought about unfamiliar territory, it reminded me about the scripture where Jabez made a request unto God that he said, expand my territory. And I am positive that when he made that request, that he was willing to change. We have to be willing to make a change, into new territory, new surroundings, new people, new environment. So that's going to require us to step out of fear and step into faith and to believe that what I'm going to change is going to be better for me. Fear and faith cannot work together because fear is constantly there. It will always be there. We will never be able to eliminate fear. And sometimes fear can be a good thing because it'll sometimes maybe force us or to allow us to make changes in our lives that's going to be so much for the better for us. And so you got fear on one side. No, you can't do that. You've never been to that environment. You don't know what it is. And put doubt and confusion sometimes even. But then faith says, you know what? Step out and do it. That you can be able to do this. You have the faith of God. You have the faith in yourself that you can be able to change and make new environments, new growth in your life, right? Number 2, comfort zone. People may have gotten so comfortable and so used to their current ways of doing things, and they're not willing to make that change, right? They the thought of having to unlearn some things and then relearn some new things, it could be very daunting to people. So they like to stay in that comfort zone. And you know, when you get in that comfort zone, it allows us to be lazy. It allows us to get used to being in that. We can do it with our eyes closed. We can say it without even thinking about it. But comfort zone will not allow us to grow. I always say the adventure is on the other side of the comfort zone, meaning we have to leave the comfort zone to go into these new developments, new areas, and new experiences, right? So another reason because of comfort zone. Thirdly, lack of confidence. Some people may doubt that they don't have the ability to make the change and to succeed. You know, the imposter syndrome is real, where people do not feel they're good enough to perform at their highest level in life. And so they may keep them, that lack of confidence will keep them thinking, I don't have the necessary skills and necessary experience. I don't have the necessary expertise. I don't have the resources. So there again, they don't want to make the change because of the lack of confidence. I will be doing a webinar about the imposter syndrome the end of this month. So stay tuned to Wisdom Wednesday podcast on the page here on Facebook, and I'll give you information about that. It'll be a free webinar. It's about an hour because it's a reality for so many people, and we can overcome that syndrome, right? Number 4, fear of failure. Failure can be very what I call it, like discouraging and dismotivating. And the people just said, nope, I'm just not going to do it. I don't want to change. I'm not going to, like a child. No, I want to stay right here. I'm comfortable here. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And so a lot of times we as grownups, we have that just too scared to take that risk and try something new. I'm of the mindset that we should not be the same person. We should not have the same mindset. We should not have the same attitude as we did last year. Last year was the past. This is a new year. We should have new expectations of ourselves, new growth, new ways of learning. And so we have to step out of that, I can't do it, and just try it, at least try it. And what's the worst thing that can happen? You didn't make it. Okay, it's not the end of the world. You can still get back up and try again. And you learn from those lessons. Okay, I know not to do that because that didn't work. And so we endeavor to make some more changes in our lives so we can be the best version of ourselves, right? Number 5 is what I call reasons why people are reluctant to change. It's what I call emotional attachment. People may have developed emotional attachment to their current situation. And they're not said, nope, I don't need to do anything else. I don't need to do anything that's uncertain or something new. And these things have formed them to say, I'm comfortable where I'm at. Have you ever tried to talk to a person and say, let's try a new restaurant? Nope, I'm good. I'm good. I like this restaurant. I just only want to know about this restaurant. So they're not even willing to change. They had that sentimental feelings, or they got that sentimental attachment on people or things. I know recently I was looking at a documentary on, I believe it was either on YouTube or maybe it was Netflix, but whatever. And it was talking about a woman who did not want to change her life. Something happened in her life. She lost her husband. Her husband passed away, and they were very much in love. And so she could not adapt, could not change, could not accept the fact that he had loved her in death. And so she wanted to keep everything that reminded her of him close to her. And really, she became a hoarder. And so she kept all of his suits. He smoked a pipe. She kept his pipes. And she just started collecting all of these things that reminded her of him, the past. And so she didn't want to change. And so she was a hoarder. And so her children was very concerned about her emotional attachment to her, that she couldn't live beyond that. She just wanted to stay in that arena of reminding of her love for her husband. And so they had to eventually take her out of that home and had to, have her change her way of thinking. And so they were able to get her some help to help her to get past that and to change and to move on in life. So sometimes we could be so emotionally attached to things or people that we do not want to change. And that could be hazardous for our health, our mental health, our spiritual health, our physical health. And so we have to be willing to detach those emotional things that's keeping us from changing and moving forward in life, right? Another reason is number 6, resistant to external pressure. And what I'm referring to here is that change may not be uh, of our own volition. It may be from some external pressure. Maybe you're at a corporation and they're making some changes and they're demanding you to make changes. And so there's some external imposed by others. And some people may resist that because they figure they're not in control of what they want to do. They're not in control of their decision. They're not in control of what they want to change or what they don't want to do, or their autonomy has been usurped from someone else. So that type is really difficult too, because you're getting pressure from outside of yourself that's forcing you to change. Let me give you an example. I had a dear friend. She worked at a company. It seemed like every 2 to 3 years that someone else bought that company, and she had to re-interview for the job. A lot of times, the new company that bought the company brought their own entourage with them. They had people they work with, and so people could be out of a job. So it was always that changing environment in her workplace. And so this happened 3, 4 times with new companies buying the company. And so she said all this external pressure and from outside. This last one, she said, interview or not, I'm starting my own company. I've done this job for them. I can do it for myself. And so she stepped out, and she's a great entrepreneur. She's doing very well, very successful entrepreneur. But all those changes that was imposed on her from external reasons helped her to start her own company, start her own business, something she wanted to do all along. But it wasn't until that external change or pressure that allowed her to step out and do some of the things that she wanted to do. So those are some of the reasons why people are reluctant to change, why I got to change. And so those external pressures can be a pain point that will allow you to maybe step out to do some of the things you wanted to do and make a change in your own life, right? And then the 7th reason, I believe, is what I call perceived costs. Changes would involve some sort of investment, be it time, energy, money, resources, or effort. And so some people are unwilling to make that change because they perceive the cost is too high to pay. And you have to weigh that. If I invest in something, will it turn out to be a great change for me? And so you have to allow yourself to know there's going to be costs in anything that we do, be it money or your time. Time is a investment. And so if you want to go back to school, for an example, instead of you have to pay the cost, instead of trying to take 5 classes, maybe just start with the 1 class. That way you're not overwhelmed with the change, right? So some suggestions I would like to make that you can overcome these obstacles about being hesitant about making a change. Learn to embrace change. And what do I mean by that? When you embrace change, you are allowing yourself to have a mindset. I may not like the change. I may not even fully understand the change, but I'm having an attitude change. I'm having a mindset change. At least I can accept the change. And then as I learn more about the change, I'll be more willing to do the change. Let me give you an example. I know when I was in school, through high school, and even through my college years, I had to take math. And I had told myself repeatedly, I detest math. So I had a mindset that I don't like math. I don't need math. I don't want math, right? And so when I was in college, I know I had to hire a tutor to help me with math. And I ranted and raved to the tutor. I don't like math. I don't know why I need to learn math. Will not be using math in my life. And so I went on and on and on. So she let me rant like a baby. And then she said, you know what? You're paying me to teach you about math, and you need to have a different attitude about math. If you allow yourself to say that you're willing to learn about math, I can almost assure you that you will be able to learn math. Right now, everything within your mindset, within your body, with everything is telling you that you don't like math. So you're not going to be able to comprehend it, to understand it, to even appreciate it. And so after she told me that, thinking, I'm paying this woman to tell me this. And she was right though. And I was able to change my mindset about it. Of course, I passed the math course. I love math now. I'm able to teach my children. I was able to teach my children and my grandchildren. Why? Because I had a different mindset about, I embraced the change about learning math. And that could be in anything. That could be about anything because it's regarding change. It's a change of mind, a change of attitude, a change of mindset. So it's a choice that we have to make when we want to make a change. Secondly, accept change in small intervals. Don't try to make all the changes at one time. That could be very frustrating. It could be very confusing and it could be very irritable. And then you don't want to change, right? So allow yourself to take change in small doses, take baby steps with it. Let me give you a story that my girlfriend and her husband decided to relocate from Michigan after they both retired. She was a retired school teacher and he worked in the automotive companies. And so they didn't suddenly just go and change somewhere. They had to go and visit different places that they wanted to live after their retirement. They've already retired, and this took a period of 3 to 5 years before they made a decision. But they took baby steps to find out. They visited Florida, they visited Georgia, they visited Nevada, they visited Arizona, they visited different California, and so eventually they saw different places they wanted to move, to change to relocate, and they eventually ended up moving in Reno, Nevada. And so after they visit there and they said they liked what they saw, they liked the people that they met, and they're living a very happy life. But see, they did it in intervals. They didn't just say, I'm moving, and didn't know where they were going. So they had to do some visitations in different states so they can find out where they wanted to change their relocation. So they're very happy. And so that's why I suggest make change in interval. Don't try to do it all at one time. It's overwhelming. And so if you do it in baby steps, so you could be able to accept it and make the change, the smooth transition change, right? Another way you can overcome these obstacles is to seek an accountability coach. That's another investment that you want to do, but someone that you value, that you appreciate their feedback, and they will be candid with you and will be honest with you, and they will hold you accountable to the changes you want to make in your life. I have an accountability coach. I have a coach that's she's trustworthy, someone that I know will tell me the skinny, will give me the true thing about it, telling me if I'm being realistic about my changes and allowing me to grow, to expand, to reach out, and to change. And so sometime accountability coach will be just the thing that you need to make those changes and make those transitions in your life. And it makes me think that we're not an island to ourselves. I always say that. I need you, you need me, we need each other. If God wanted only us to be an island to ourselves, he would have stopped at Adam. He would have just made Adam and that was it. But no, he made it his helpmate and allowed Eve to work in her purpose and so they expand and grow and multiply. And so we need one another. We need each other who's going to help us be the best version of ourselves. And change is all a part of that. Life is all about changing. We should not be the same that we were even a week ago, a month ago. Since I've last been on the podcast, my husband and I went to visit Alaska. And so that's a change. And now we're back and here it is June. That's a change, a new season, a new time in life. So be willing to change. And I can promise you this, that you'll be glad that you did change, because I put something on social media about a month ago, because I knew I was going to talk about change in this episode, that change in the beginning is messy. It's hard. It is hard because we like to be in our comfort zone. And in the middle, it gets very diluted, or it can get messy in the middle, right? And then in the end, it could be a glorious experience because we've reached new heights, we've met new friends, We did new experiences. And so it allowed us to learn, to grow, and to stretch. And that's what change is all about. We're not the same. We made a choice to change and to be different. So I hope you got something out of this podcast today. I will be back again on the third Wednesday of this month. I think it's I don't know the date. So just mark it out and I'll be posting it. That'll be the third Wednesday of June that I'll be back. I'm hoping to have a guest on who's going to even enhance and talk more about change and the importance of having change in your life so that you can be the best version of who you are. So remember, keep your head up, be positive, and know that you can change if you decide to do that. Okay, and it's bye for now. Until we meet again, I'll see you at that time.